Hi Leo, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you guys subscribe, I upload my new videos for Leo and Aquarius on Fridays. So, the deck that I'm using today is called the Deviant Moon Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, the information is in the description below. So I do want to give you guys a heads up that sometimes the cards like to flip over in the deck. I do see them, however, I usually really only take cards that jump out of the deck like these ones have. And usually if they jump out in groups that are too big, I'll go ahead and put them back and continue shuffling. But my goal here is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards, and then we can get started on your reading. So, I'm just going to try to pull out 1 or 2 more cards and we can get started. All right, Leo. So I do want to remind you guys that in case you enjoy the reading, the best way to let me know is by leaving a like or a comment. But your overall energy here is actually really great because you have the 10 of Cups. I apologize, but I do want to point out that you have the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands, right? So we have a lot of that sort of repeating energy. So the number 10 might be very relevant to your life right now. So keep your eyes peeled for any 10s that are popping up. I'm getting it for some of you. You guys might be rated at work from like a scale of 1 to 10 or something like that. So definitely when it comes to the number 10 and sort of like the concept of completion, keep your eyes peeled for that, because you know, what happens when you get to the number 10 is that you complete the suit and then you start back over at the ace, right? So, and as you can see, you have the 10 of Pentacles back to the ace. So like I was saying, I'm getting a lot of this sort of cyclical energy for you guys right now. So certainly be aware of the energies that you're calling in and the way that you handle situations. But the 10 of Cups, the card in itself talks about emotional fulfillment. So I think that you guys right now are kind of like in a different stage, right? Like this is a completely different ball game. I think that for a lot of you guys, you were just kind of doing the best with what you had at the moment, you know, just kind of surviving, but now you're thriving, right? So you have that power, you have that motivation, because I see the 10 of Cups here as your overall energy, right? So from this emotional fulfillment, that sort of gives you the drive and the motivation to get things done. So when you're emotionally fulfilled in, let's say, your job, that motivates you to do it. So I'm getting that a lot of sectors in your life are going to improve right now because you have this as your overall energy. And when we act from a place of love instead of like a place of fear, that facilitates our goals and us succeeding in life. But I do want to mention here that you have the 6 of Cups here with the Ace of Pentacles. So like I was saying earlier, I was mentioning that idea of cycles. So the 6 of Cups is actually my nostalgia card, right? It's my childhood identity card. So a lot of times, like you can even see here that there's a puppet show going on, and you know, it's almost like that concept of authors getting the ideas for their stories from their own personal life experiences, right? So this is, to me, is like a way of projection. And that to me tells me that you guys should be a little bit analytical about how you're approaching things. Because I think that you guys are kind of in a situation where you're like, oh, well, I've been there, I've done that, and I didn't quite like the result last time. Here's my opportunity to change it, right? And I think that you're very much going to do that because you have this Ace of Pentacles, right? So that's a new beginning. And it's a new beginning in stability. So I think that especially if in the past you were in some kind of a cycle where it ended up in instability, or perhaps you've ended up in a situation right now that's caused some instability, this Ace of Pentacles is going to be sort of like, I don't want to say wake up call, but kind of like an energy that comes in to sort of restabilize you, right? So it's kind of like a wake up call, but not quite. Either way, I'm seeing that this is a new beginning. So instead of repeating the cycles that you perhaps have repeated in your life, you're going to start you're going to start down a new path, and that's going to give you a lot more stability than perhaps your old cycles, which I think is a really good energy to be in, because, you know, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes, especially when we're much younger, and, you know, there's no time like the present to really make these big, huge strides towards, you know, the eventual end game that you want. And with the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups that I keep talking about, like, those are two very positive cards. So I see that that's what you're going to end up really manifesting into your life. So I'm looking a little bit further ahead here with the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. So that to me is a very wonderful energy to be in, and I certainly think that it's you. So the Queen of Pentacles is very earthly, is very stable, is very good with money and money management. So I don't think that that's ever really been an issue for you guys. I feel like you guys are pretty realistic when it comes to your spending habits, which, you know, Leos get a lot of flack and a lot of bad rep because, you know, you guys are one of the more glamorous signs of the zodiac. So you have that stereotype of always being, you know, extra and really pampered and all that stuff. But I feel like, you know, you guys are frugal where it counts and are really realistic and really down to earth when it comes to how you're spending your money. And you understand that if you don't spend a little bit on yourself, then you're just going to work yourself to the bone, and then there's like no point in even making money because you're not even enjoying it, right? It's just like an endless cycle of misery. And perhaps, like, especially since I've used the word cycle, maybe in the past you guys have been down that road and have noticed that, you know, money doesn't have any real value unless you spend it on something. So, you know, that's not exactly the best way of putting that, but you get what I'm the idea that I'm trying to convey here. And with the Six of Pentacles, right, the Six of Pentacles talks about charity. So I feel like you guys are acting from a place of charity. And like I said earlier, when we act from sort of like a place of love, and in this case charity, it calls for us more money because we're not acting as if we need it, as if we're sort of like at a loss for it. But either way, I'm very excited to talk about this Ten of Pentacles that I keep sort of mentioning throughout the reading, and this Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands in reverse to me is a really good sign, because whenever we see the Ten of Wands in the upright, we know that it's talking about burdens and you guys probably taking on more than you can chew and just all around not having a good time, being very stressed, sometimes depressed. But because it's in the reverse, it tells me that you guys are entering a period now where you're really able to feel a lot more, what's the word? Like, not quite so much stressed, not quite as stressed. You guys are feeling a lot more comfortable with where you're at and how you're getting there. And this to me oftentimes feels like delegation, because a lot of times when we have the the Five of Wands energy, it's because we've taken on more than we can handle, or we feel like the whole weight of the world is on our shoulders. But this to me feels like somebody is stepping in to help you. And I think it's some kind of a family member or a spouse or something like that, partner perhaps, because I'm looking at this Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is, I like to call it my happy wife, happy life card, right? So it's the ideal living arrangement for you, right? And whatever your ideal living arrangement is obviously going to vary from person to person, because for some people that could be like, I always give this example, like a white picket fence, the 2 dogs, the 2 kids, whatever. For other people that might be like a condo by yourself downtown, like it just, whatever it is, you're working towards that and you're going to get it, because, and I do want to point out the symbolism here, like you can see these 2 people, and like I was saying, you have sort of this delegation here. So I think that this Ten of Wands in reverse is certainly somebody that's coming to help you out. And then you have this energy, which is the energy of, you know, setting the pieces down. So even though these 2 people are playing chess against each other, I feel like in the real world, you guys are playing chess together and putting the pieces where they need to be in order for you guys to take action the way that you want it to. My only advice for you guys is be aware of this King of Cups in reverse, because the King of Cups in reverse can be somebody who is very emotionally unintelligent. It's somebody who doesn't really understand other people, who isn't capable of sympathy, and oftentimes really negative or even toxic. They have the tendency to be very manipulative, especially by trying to guilt you and using your emotions against each other. And I feel like perhaps in the past you've dealt with somebody like this, and that's caused you to be in this Four of Pentacles energy, which is an energy of keeping resources to yourself. Kind of like a selfishness energy, but I think it's more of you guys keeping your emotions to yourself instead of expressing them. So at the end of the day, you guys are going to be able to get everything you want because you're very realistic. There's a lot of grounded energy here. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. And on top of that, you have the Ten of Cups and, the Ten of Wands, which is usually a negative card in the reverse, so you have sort of that positive quality. So all around, this reading is telling me that you guys are making different choices from perhaps the ones that you've done in the past, and that's going to lead you to even greater, better places. But Leo, that was your reading first time around. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel, and I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Leo videos on Fridays, but in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.